What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, back with some more boxing. Now, I watched the Nonito Donaire versus Vic Darchinyan rematch last night. I watched it late, had to DVR it. I went to see the movie Thor 2, good movie, and I'm getting over the sickness. So I took some NyQuil and medicine. So I was out. I was out for the count. So I'm just now getting to the post-fight video. Vic Darchinyan and Nonito Donaire rematch. Very competitive, a lot more competitive than I thought. I thought this was a feel-good fight for Nonito Donaire after a crushing defeat to Yadimo Rigondeaux. I thought they were trying to give Nonito Donaire back into the picture after Guillermo just kind of outclassed him, made him look more amateurish. And this turned out to be a tooth and nail fight, very tug of war. And I thought Donaire would have an easier time with Vic Darchinyan. Here's why. One, I think Nonito Donaire, since they first met up in the lower weight division, has improved in general. They met 6 years ago in the lower weight division. Plus, Vic Darchinyan's power seemed more apparent in the lower weight divisions, whereas Nonito Donaire, he's really starching guys who are fighting at the higher weight division that he's currently at, 122, when he was fighting at 122. So I just thought he had been the fighter with more improvement, but it appears the loss to Rigondeaux or something. I can't quite place what it was, but he did not look that great in this fight. To me, I don't think he looked good. He was able to eventually stop in the ninth round. This was only a 10-rounder, keep in mind. He was able to stop Vic Darchinyan. He caught him. Vic was rushing in, hit him with that left hook, and that set up a bunch of things. And Vic wasn't able to recover. He had him against the ropes, landing some good shots, and he was able to TKO him, get him out of there, and the ref waved it off. However, this was a 10-round fight, and it took up until the ninth round for him to do this. Meanwhile, Vic Darchinyan was ahead on two of the judges' scorecards, and I think the other judge had it as a draw. So very close, and he put his record in harm's way by making it that close of a fight. He really never let his hands go. He looked rusty to me. He looked unconfident and at times even unmotivated, like he just didn't want to be there. I don't know what it is. To me, I thought he had all the tools to look spectacular in this fight. I thought he was going to be motivated from the Rigondeaux loss. He had his baby, a healthy baby with his wife Rachel. He had the shoulder spur injury worked on. He had the surgery for that, and he had already rehabbed that. So I thought he was going to come out ferocious like the old Filipino Flash, but realistically, he was getting tagged a lot with shots. Again, he just looked rusty, lethargic, like some of his confidence has been removed from the Rigondeaux loss. So I don't know how much of it was the Rigondeaux loss played a part, how much it is the bad blood between him and Vic Darchinyan. Maybe Vic Darchinyan. I mean, I do give Vic Darchinyan props because through most of the fight, he fought a measured fight. He was a lot more calculated and more deceptive and less just pure aggression for no reason. He fought a smarter fight, I guess you could say, in general. So props to Vic Darchinyan for that. He did surprise me with that. I thought he would open himself up recklessly like he does in a lot of fights, a lot more. And he did in the ninth round, and he paid for it. But he fought a very calculated fight and a lot more strategic and very patient. He was more composed and patient, and he was landing some bombs on Nonito Donaire. So as far as Donaire, I think he has his work cut out if he wants to elevate back to the top. First of all, boxing is a sport that requires focus and discipline. So Nonito Donaire, I don't know if he's unmotivated or if he wants to be a family man or whatnot, but you have to take a stance. You have to decide what you want to do and draw that line in the sand, because boxing is not a sport if you're going to slack, if you're not going to take training camp seriously, or if you're not going to dedicate yourself 100%. It's not the sport for you. I can tell you that because there's other people who are coming from nothing. They want what you have. They want what you have, whether it's fame, money, your title, your belt, whatever it is. They want something you have, and they're gonna try to get it by any means. So that's first thing. Second of all, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what it was with Nonito. At first, I was like, oh, maybe it's ring rust, and then I thought, you know what? The Rigondeaux fight happened this year in April, so he shouldn't be ring rusted. It's not like he's been out of the sport for a year or something. Like Miguel Cotto came back looking ferocious against Delvin Rodriguez, and he had a way longer layoff than he went from December to I think October. So he had almost a year in his layoff, and he looked ferocious when he came back. So it can't be ring rust. He just fought in April. I don't know what it was with Nonito Donaire. So maybe some of it was Vic Darchinyan's game plan, the bad blood. I know Vic Darchinyan really wanted to beat Nonito this time, so maybe it elevated his game and made him like a harder. Because he's very awkward. Vic Darchinyan is awkward. He's very herky jerky, and he moves and feints in weird ways and moves his head down low, and he's just real like slippery, I guess you could say. Just really awkward to fight, like drunken monkey style or some shit. So I attribute some of that to maybe Vic Darchinyan's improved game plan, but also Vic Darchinyan is a fighter who hasn't looked spectacular against other people. So I don't know. I just expected more from the Filipino Flash. Anselmo Moreno beat Vic Darchinyan rather easily, and he has no punching power, and he just boxed Vic Darchinyan's head off. Abner Mars, we've seen him since the Nonito first fight. We've seen Abner Mars beat Vic Darchinyan. So I don't really know. I just really expected more. You've already beat this opponent in a convincing, brutal fashion with that knockout in the first fight. You're bigger than him. I think you're taller than him. There's really no excuse. You had your baby. You had the shoulder spur surgery. I really don't know what it is. You got your dad back in the corner. You went to Oxnard to train, so you said you were getting serious about training, and you uprooted from Vegas and went to Oxnard. So I really don't know why Darchinyan looked so good and Nonito looked just average. Nonito looked very flat-footed. Like I said, just rusty, unmotivated. And I expected a lot more from Nonito Donaire. This was someone who just a few months ago or just last year was being Fighter of the Year. He was being named Fighter of the Year, and he was on many people's top 10 pound-for-pound lists. And when you're on those lists and when you're ranked Fighter of the Year, the following year, we're not expecting you to be thoroughly on the decline. Like I said, he got the stoppage, which is good for him, but it's how you got the stoppage. I look at Mikey Garcia, who battled adversity. He got knocked down in the second round, composed himself, and went on to dominate that fight. And he just slowly started wearing Rocky Martinez down, hurting him, and then he stopped him with the body shot. So I'm a lot more impressed with Mikey Garcia's stoppage than Nonito Donaire, especially since the higher weight probably benefited Nonito more than it benefited Darchinyan, whereas Mikey Garcia was a fighter who moved up in weight and was going against, it was a title fight. You're trying to dethrone the champion, and he did it in spectacular fashion by forcing him to quit. So in terms of the two fights of that night, Mikey Garcia by far was more spectacular in terms of his performance and how he went about his victory as opposed to Nonito Donaire. So as far as Donaire, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's going to keep working with Robert Garcia or if he's going to go exclusively with his dad. His dad worked with him in the Vic Darchinyan first fight, also in the amateurs. I don't know if there's anything to do with that situation. I don't know if he's unmotivated. He doesn't really have the hunger and the desire. Don't know what it is, but he needs to get it together, especially if he wants to call out Rigondeaux and fight Rigondeaux in a rematch. Because if the Nonito Donaire that showed up yesterday shows up against Rigondeaux, I see Rigondeaux beating him even easier, possibly stopping him. Because Rigondeaux is a fighter with tremendous speed. And not only speed, with that speed comes accuracy and power and a southpaw stance and a marvelous amateur pedigree. So I just don't see Nonito Donaire looking like he did yesterday, getting tagged with the shots that he shouldn't have got tagged with, like looping shots from a fighter with less speed and less in pretty much every skill set department. If you compare Vic Darchinyan and Rigondeaux, I just don't see him beating Rigondeaux looking like that. And what is he going to do? Like, he looked like he was getting hurt. There was an end of one of the rounds. He was pushed back to the ropes by Vic Darchinyan. So I just don't see him beating Rigondeaux looking like that. He's going to have to make some kind of adjustments if he wants to even stand a chance with with Rigondeaux, because again, Rigondeaux is very technically sound. But we'll see what Rigondeaux looks like against Joseph Ekbeko. That's a tough fight that he has to fight King Kong first. So we'll see how he looks, but I imagine he's going to look better than Nonito Donaire looked yesterday. So let me know what you guys think. Is Nonito on the B side? Does he not want to fight anymore? Was it just the bad blood and Vic Darchinyan's great game plan that made Nonito look less than stellar? Leave a comment and let me know, what do you guys think will happen in the Rigondeaux rematch? Let me know some of the answers to those questions. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next videos, Ego signing off.